Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker is the Honourable Minister of Finance.
Honorable Chairperson, honorable members. The debate about grey listing and its impact is an important debate for all South Africans who care about the country and its prospects. In this regard, I want to thank Honorable George for requesting this debate. It is also an issue that is very attractive for the opposition parties, because it is easy to portray it as some kind of international criticism of South Africa. What I hoped for was that, having criticized us for our failures, our colleagues on the opposition benches would probably offer us some solutions.
Order, honourable members. Order. Order, Honourable Paulson. You had the opportunity to debate. Order.
What is the solution we're being granted? Remove the ANC. That's a solution which I've seen coming at cost. We need some contribution. I've always, when I take this platform, genuinely request opposition parties as South Africans to debate with us, even outside this room, where it is necessary to offer some solution to complex and challenging problems confronting our nation. I'm grateful to Honorable Wessels because he draws a distinction between two things: grey listing and blacklisting, which are both things the FATF does. Unfortunately, South Africa is not blacklisted, but grey listed. That distinction is important. So what I want to do today, I want to reflect on grey listing and on government's attitude to the underlying issues, and I'll leave it for others to play politics with the issue. The first thing to say is that being grey listed is a serious matter. The FATF process is a rigorous one, and we don't think that the decision to grey list South Africa was a frivolous one, or that it was taken for frivolous reasons. That's from our side, subjectively. If we don't take that decision, we're not going to be operating in order to change not the frivolous one. The fact of the matter is that South Africa does have serious challenges of crime and corruption, and that these generate a lot of proceeds of crime. If there are a lot of proceeds of crime, our anti-money laundering regime must be sufficiently strong. But let me say, a lot is being said about the implications. What are the possible implications of grey listing? The first one is to see capital outflows. Have we seen capital outflows in this economy which we can attribute to grey listing? My answer is no. An example, in April this month, we've had positive inflows more than any period between 2017 and now. Those are facts. Those are facts. You can go to the central bank to get you those figures. The second thing is how do corresponding financial institutions relate to our institutions? We have not seen any negative reaction by corresponding financial institutions to our institutions. So what do we have? What we have is largely a politicization of the problem than a focus on the resolution of the problem. We need to fix this, not because FATF tells us to do it, or because it is embarrassing that we are grey-listed, but because crime and corruption are a major threat to our economy and prosperity. That's why we do it. That's why we do it. Not because that is why the president responded in October last year with a comprehensive response to the recommendation of the Zondo Commission, committing to fix up our institution so that they can deal better with the crime and corruption. I'm going to come back to this point. What have we done in order to strengthen these institutions? So I want to say that even though we don't think that grey listing has itself caused any significant impact yet, as I've indicated, we have to recognize that the reasons we were grey listed do have major economic consequences, as I have indicated about crime and corruption. If we don't deal with the crime and corruption more effectively, then we will struggle to solve our economic challenges. The importance of dealing with the reasons for grey listing is the most important point I want to make today. And it is from this starting point that we have been proceeding in responding to grey listing. Part of the reason FATF grey lists us is that they assert the statutory basis of our anti-money laundering regime, identify a number of deficiencies that could be exploited by those who wish to hide ill-gotten gains from crime and corruption. In this regard, as members, we all know, we led a process that last year that to pass a range of statutory amendments that address all these gaps. Thanks to you members for that. These changes are now in force, and we think that they will go some way to close the gap through which dirty money enters into and circulate in the economy. They will also make it easier to identify the beneficiaries of transactions that involve the proceeds of crime and corruption. Of course, having legal tools available to identify and curb money laundering is not by itself enough. We also need to put up our game with respect to enforcing the laws, identifying wrongdoers, and prosecuting them successfully.
I think we're missing each other a little bit.
As
And
honorable members will know,
here.
our law enforcement agencies
Maybe
were deliberately weakened during this era of state capture. We are making progress in addressing the weaknesses that exist, but this is not the work of the day. Even with leadership that are not tainted by state corruption, it takes time to build the skills and capacity. In this regard, we tabled the budget in February. What did we say in that budget to strengthen these institutions? Let me go back to that point because it seems members have forgotten about it. The budget in February increased the budget of the relevant agencies by 14 billion over the medium term. This includes 1.3 billion to the National Prosecuting Authority to implement the findings of the Zondo Commission, 265 million for the Financial Intelligence Center to strengthen its capacity, and nearly 1 billion for the Hawks. That is responding to what the president said when he addressed this house in October, that we are going to strengthen these institutions. These resources are directed towards strengthening these institutions. Teams with criminal justice system are also identifying priority cases, resource gaps, and training needs so that much progress is made more quickly. I've already said we are doing these things not because we want to get off the gray list as soon as possible, but because we want to address the reasons we're gray listed in the first place. Those reasons are a threat to the future, and they should not be a subject to petty politics. If we act to implement the action plan we've agreed to with FATF, we can and will get off the gray list sometime next year. If we do not, then we'll be significantly impacted financially and economically. Part of the process is to have an interface with FATF every 3 months. Starting from next week, a meeting we're going to have with them in Mauritius. In Mauritius to That's where they want us. It's not us who want to go there. We hope. A
Order,
point-
honorable members, order.
A point has been made. A point has been made that part of our other challenges is our non-aligned position. South Africa has adopted from the day of democracy a non-aligned position. A non-aligned position is not the one that suggests we're moving from the West as if we were in the West in the first place. We're in nobody's land. We're in our own land. And we're not subjecting ourselves to any specific ideological group or geopolitical group in the world, but taking a non-aligned position. And that is known. To assert, as some have said, that we're moving from the West is misleading. Insofar as allegation about AGOA, I want to assure this House that South Africa has a strategic relationship with the USA, as we do with any other nation. I must repeat this. We have a strategic relationship with the United States of America, as we do with any other nations. My colleague, the Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition, has got a relationship with his counterpart in the United States. No hint whatsoever has been made about us being chased out of AGOA. I do have a relationship with my counterpart from the United States of America. I met her as late as 2 weeks ago in the World Bank meeting. No hint of any, in fact, they were saying they committed to AGOA. So these mongering tactics, I don't think that they're in the interest of South Africa. I don't think they're in the interest of South Africa. This debate really should have been, if it was concerned genuinely, it should have focused on how do we as a nation, not as political parties, contribute to taking South Africa out of the gray list. That's what this debate about. That's what this debate about. I suspect, well, as we run up to the elections, we're going to have more of these debates from this side of the opposition. My sense, what we've done good this side was say to help us to explain the work we're doing as the ANC, which I thank you for that. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.